All the food is poison.
I've got one that can see.
Gerald Zernstein grinds his own hamburger these days. Why? Because this former USDA scientist, now whistleblower, knows that 70% of the ground beef we buy at the supermarket contains something he calls pink slime. Beef trimmings that were once used only in dog food and cooking oil, now sprayed with ammonia to make them safe to eat, and then added to most ground beef as a cheaper filler. It was Zernstein who, in a USDA memo, first coined the term pink slime, and is now coming forward to say he won't buy it.
It's economic fraud. It's not fresh ground beef. It's a substitute. It's
fat spun out.
Here's how it's done. Those waste trimmings are gathered, simmered at low heat to make it easier to separate fat from muscle, put in a centrifuge and spun to finish the separation. Next, the mixture is sent through pipes where it's sprayed with ammonia gas to kill bacteria, and finally compressed into bricks and flash frozen for shipment to meat packers and grocery stores where it's added to most ground beef. And it doesn't have to appear on the label, because over objections of its own scientists, USDA officials with links to the beef industry labeled pink slime meat.
The undersecretary said, it's pink, therefore it's meat.
ABC News has learned the woman who made the decision to okay the mix is former Undersecretary of Agriculture Joanne Smith, a call that led to hundreds of millions of dollars for Beef Products, Inc., the makers of pink slime. When Smith stepped down from USDA, BPI's principal supplier appointed her to the board of directors.
Guys, look. So I look at this and it says Certified Angus Beef Brand. What is a CHO's tenderloin steak? Well, it's a tenderloin steak, but dude, is that, I mean,
I don't even know. I'm not eating
looks like freaking glued meat. It was a steak, but look, it's just solid. I'm not playing around, guys. This is nothing. I've never seen nothing like this. And I'm a butcher. I have butchered meat all my life.
And so he's about to go. He's going to our local.
I'm doing it right here. Going in the garbage. I'm dumping. I don't trust that as far as I can throw it.
All right, guys, I'm back.
I'm gonna do a short video right here. This is from my local farmer here in Northwest Louisiana. I came down back. Y'all can see. This is what it is. Stand by. So you don't see. This is from the local farmer. Nothing. It's solid. It's not tenderized. I know you're gonna think I was tenderized by me. This is what a real cut looks like. It's hard. It's tender. Don't get me wrong. I can't pull it apart with my fingers and have much strength.
Did you know that the food industry uses carbon monoxide to make the meat look better and last longer? Oh yeah, it's true.
Grocery stores treat packaged meat with carbon monoxide. I'm not making this stuff up. Yeah, so that colorless, odorless, and tasteless gas that is toxic, it is used to preserve our beloved chicken and beef when it is packaged and shipped to the grocery store. Obviously, our meat would spoil and go rotten rather quickly if it wasn't treated with some sort of preservative. But why the heck would they choose a poisonous and toxic gas? Apparently, the carbon monoxide is good for preserving the meat's color and freshness, and it allows these products to be sold for much longer than they should be. The American meat industry has been packaging meat with carbon monoxide since 2006, and there haven't been any negative reports. The FDA has classified carbon monoxide as generally safe.
Yeah, it probably is generally safe if you don't eat it.
We get a lot of questions sometimes, like when people buy our meat, they're like, well, I opened it up and it's not red. Why isn't it red? And the reason is because the only way to keep it red is they pump gases into the packaging that artificially create a red color. So the meat naturally is never that red. When you cut it and it's first exposed to oxygen momentarily, it will bloom, it's called. It'll redden up just a little bit and then it'll instantly start to brown out unless you pump gases into the packaging for about 10 minutes and artificially create this like red pinkish color. So we get that question a lot. And it's like, they're like, your meat's not fresh because it's brown. It's like, well, actually it's way fresher. Our meat is brown because 5 minutes later it turns to that brown color and then we flash freeze it. So you're like eating meat that's like metabolic, 5 minutes old, versus that red fresh meat in the grocery store might be a month old and it's sat like that, but they're using artificial gases in that packaging to create a color that's completely unnatural.
So how would people know if is there anything on a package that someone...
Oh no, they don't have to declare it. If your packaged meat looks bright red, then it is filled with artificial gases to create that. Meat doesn't look like that. But like no one knows that.
Looks bright red and juicy, but this piece of meat is not safe to eat. Believe it or not, it's been sitting out for 11 days. So how could it still look so fresh? It's because it's being packed and gassed in a special process that most people never heard about, using carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen, which keeps the meat looking fresh and bright red. We left 2 cuts of lamb out at room temperature. One was gas-packed, the other no gas. After a few days, the untreated meat turns a dark, unappealing color. But the gas-packed meat stays red, even after being left out for 8 days. The only visible sign of spoilage is the package puffing out and a bad odor when opened. We had the meat analyzed in a lab, and it's no surprise that both cuts are loaded with bacteria. The color of the meat doesn't necessarily indicate it's fresh.
Our government is letting U.S. food companies get away with serving American citizens harmful ingredients that are banned or heavily regulated in other countries. Even worse, American food companies are selling the same exact products overseas without these chemicals, but choose to continue serving us the most toxic version here. It's un-American. Let me give you some examples of McDonald's French fries. In the US, there's 11 ingredients. In the UK, there's 3, and salt is optional. An ingredient called dimethylpolysiloxane is an ingredient preserved with formaldehyde, a neurotoxin, in the US version. This is used as a foaming agent so they don't have to replace the oil that often, making McDonald's more money here in the United States. But they don't do that across the pond. This is Skittles. Notice the long list of ingredient differences. 10 artificial dyes in the US version and titanium dioxide. This ingredient is banned in Europe because it can cause DNA damage. Artificial dyes are made from petroleum, and products containing these dyes require a warning label in Europe that states it may cause adverse effects on activity and detention in children. And they have been linked to cancer and disruptions in the immune system. This on the screen back here is Gatorade. In the US, they use red 40 and caramel color. In Germany, they don't. They use carrot and sweet potatoes to color their Gatorade. General Mills is definitely playing some tricks on us. They launched a new version of Trix just recently in Australia. It has no dyes. They even advertise that when the US version still does. This is why I became a food activist. My name is Vani Hari, and I only want one thing. I want Americans to be treated the same way as citizens in other countries by our own American companies. 60 years, almost all food additives were being created for one sole purpose: to improve the bottom line of the food industry and not improve our health. These chemicals were created to mimic real food, to make it easier and cheaper for food manufacturers to preserve their food, to make it last longer on the shelf, to help manufacturing, and sinister of all, to allow them to create products that are more addictive in nature. I ended up quitting my lifelong career as a corporate management consultant to investigate and write about food full-time. During my investigations, I found an alarming discovery. We use over 10,000 food additives here in the United States, and in Europe, there's only 400 approved. We were able to get Subway to remove azodicarbonamide from their bread in the United States after another successful petition. And as a bonus, there was a ripple effect, and almost every bread manufacturer in America followed suit. I want to make an important point here. Ordinary people who rallied for safer food, shared this information, and signed petitions were able to make these changes. We did this on our own. But isn't this something that the people in Washington, our elected politicians, should be doing? We deserve the same safer ingredients other countries get. We cannot allow our own American companies to treat us this way anymore. We've had enough. It's unethical, and it needs to stop.
My predictions are threefold. First of all, in the next 10 years, dairy products as we currently know them, which are cows being milked to produce milk, which then goes into cheese or yogurt or whatever, will be gone. There won't be any. Half of the world's meat will be plant-based, of the type that we're familiar with now, or cell-based agriculture, where the meat is produced in laboratories to very high specifications. Half of the world's fish in 10 years' time will come from the same type of production. If you eat a lot of fish, in the past it was good for you. Today the fish has microplastics, toxins, lots of antibiotics, because half of the fish that are produced in fish farms.
The food you eat in America is so toxic it's actually illegal in other countries. US chicken is actually bathed in chlorine before being injected with saline solution and then packaged for sale. Actually up to 15% of the chicken's weight in these packages can just be salty, sugary water. It's supposed to be so it tastes better, but like, I'll season it myself, thank you. The EU has banned the sale of American chicken because of this chlorine wash, because believe it or not, you're not supposed to consume chlorine. At least not in high doses. I mean, it's in our tap water, so it's literally inescapable. My name is Patrick, and here are 10 more foods that are illegal outside of the United States, and I guarantee you have some of them in your pantry. Since we started this with chicken, I might as well let you know that US pork is also banned. This is thanks to a controversial drug known as ractopamine, which is banned in about 170 out of the 196 countries in the entire world. See, ractopamine accelerates weight gain so that these animals become plump and we can get more bang for our buck as producers. Don't mind my conspiratorial brain here, but last I checked we had an obesity epidemic in the United States. Yeah, I just checked. The CDC says about 74% of us are overweight, at least as of 2020. It's almost like there's this weird incentive to keep us overweight and like slightly disease-ridden. Not dead, because then they can't profit $4.3 trillion off of us annually. It's not profit, it's net income. I get it. It's 18.3% of the entire GDP of our country. Anyway, did you know that Twinkies are illegal? Not because of the high fructose corn syrup, but because of the yellow coloring. Those numbered food colorings, such as Red 40, which gives the maraschino cherries such a vibrant red color, are banned for a good reason. Those colored dyes are actually derived from crude oil, you know, petroleum, the stuff that makes gasoline and kerosene and diesel and plastic bags. Yeah, we're eating it. It's widely known that these food colorings cause a host of physical and mental illnesses, such as allergic reactions, asthma, ADD, ADHD, straight up immune deficiencies. Another epidemic here in the United States. I mean, how many of us here right now watching this video have ADD? Go ahead, raise your hand in the comments. Is it clicking? Stovetop stuffing has BHA and BHT, a synthetic antioxidant which prevents vegetable oils from going rancid and is a common ingredient in plastic or wax paper lining for packages. That was BHT. BHA is actually an anti-wrinkling agent, so you know, Thanksgiving's coming up, so rather than eat the stuffing, just spread it on your face. Coffee Mate coffee creamer, full of hydrogenated seed oils. Same with Ritz crackers, actually. And in small amounts, it's actually not that bad for us, but the problem is, it's everywhere. If you're consuming too many seed oils and not enough, I'm just gonna call them meat oils, that's when you get into problems. See, when I was studying nutrition, our teachers would explain to us that it's more about the ratio between these two rather than just the overconsumption of them. I'm gonna end on a banger here, and I would appreciate it if you would share this one out because I really do want people to understand what they're putting inside their bodies. Bodybuilders are gonna love this one. Milk. US milk is banned outside of the US. Pump our cows full of growth hormones. Bovine growth hormone to be specific. It's a GMO hormone, believe it or not, which actually increases the cow's production of milk. Research is mixed on this one, although conclusive enough to ban US milk in Canada, New Zealand, Japan. Some of the growth hormone gets into the milk and then increases our IGF-1, which does help build muscle, but it's also linked to breast cancer. Be careful what you put inside your body because...
Have y'all seen this new documentary on Netflix called Poisoned? If not, here's a clip.
Piece of steak, that's a piece of meat from one animal. If there is E. coli, it's on the outside. It's not in the middle. So searing the steak would help kill that. The problem is that when you buy ground beef, you now take the outsides and they're part of the insides. all the animals together and slaughtering them in the same facility. Now you're taking chunks of multiple animals and you're grinding them all up into one big mess.
Hamburger sometimes is the result of mixing meat from as many as 400 animals. Kind of awful to think about. If one of those animals has this toxic flora E. coli, you're in trouble.
So we're getting a bunch of these. Okay, Moya, we're getting these ones?
Yep.
But let me show you something. This stuff over here, this is all criminal meat. Now they have the technology to 3D print this crap. Okay? Don't buy any meat from any store without a bone. You're getting screwed big time. That's right.
Oh. You see, I take these glasses off. She looks like a regular person, doesn't she, huh? Put them back on, formaldehyde face. That's what we got.
That's enough out of you. You get out or I call the cops.
Call the cops? You know what you need? You need a Brazilian plastic surgeon.
I've got one that can see.
One day, Jesus is coming. You may be at church. You may be at work. You may be asleep. God grant that you will be ready when he makes his personal appearance. My God, what if his appearance occurs on a Sunday morning? My prophetic word to you this morning is get ready, get ready.